Can we start, sir?
Yes, ma, you can begin now.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Sneha. Before I start, I would like to thank our HOD, Dr. Rajesh Gopinath, sir, and all the judges, and our guide, Dr. Velumani, sir, for giving such great opportunity for making such kind of project, whose topic is earthquake resistance building by base isolation technique and by using dampers which resist the earthquake. And the members associated with our team are Nayan MR, Panduranga, Srishti S. Here we can see the introduction to our project. Initially, the purpose was to prevent the collapsing of building during an earthquake. But today, that aim to maintain comfort in addition to earthquake security, use on the foreground conventional seismic design required for an additional strength ductility to resist seismic forces by controlling internal forces and displacement with a particular limits by isolating the building from ground or dam the seismic energy for limiting these energy structural elements. Here we can see the seismic isolation and damping system present an effective way to common seismic design for improving the seismic performance of structure. By having these two techniques, we can reduce the seismic forces by changing the stiffness or by damping in the structure. Whereas we have conventional seismic design which is required for an additional strength and ductility to resist the seismic forces. Here we have another method of protection of the structures against the earthquake is to isolate the building from the ground or to install the seismic energy dissipating elements at the appropriate places of the building. By having these two methods, we can protection could be provided by designing correctly against the earthquake and therefore significant damage level could be minimized. Next, we can see the objective of our project. The purpose of the earthquake building is all to provide the structural safety and comfort by controlling internal forces and displacement within a particular limits. And then we have isolating the building from ground is a better protection could be provided with significant structural damage level can be minimized. And by extending the structure period instead of increasing the resistant capacity of the building against the earthquake. Initially, the purpose was to prevent the collapsing, but today the design that aim to maintain the comfort in addition to earthquake security. Here we have the seismic isolators are seen to be effective solution within this context, which are placed in the building appropriately to damp the seismic energy, are placed between the foundation and vertical structural systems, damping the seismic energy under the ground of the building. By this, we can decrease the effect of lateral loads which are coming on top floors. Over to Srishti.
So by this, you will understand what is the ultimate purpose of our project. That is to provide additional strength, comfort, safety to the building. So how do we achieve it? So what is the method are we using here? So we'll know that by the methodology. Increasing the efficiency of the building within the context can be feasible by damping the seismic energy between the vertical structural system. It includes placing certain kind of additional elements in the building, ensuring that the building will function well under the service load. Acceleration and the displacement can be decreased by increasing the damping effect of the building so that the various kinds of dampers and combinations can be used to do that. Methods and classification. Improving the seismic performance of the structure by the technique to reduce the seismic force by changing the stiffness and the damping structure can be brought by dampers. So here dampers are playing very important role. So we will know in depth about them. So basically they are divided into two types, external and internal types. So external types are placed outside the building, whereas internal types are the energy dissipating mechanisms. All response control systems are classified into two types based on their operational systems. There are active and passive. Active control system. In this, based on providing the continuous energy from the outside. So that can be an electric system such as computers, starters, etc. In case of passive control system operates without utilizing any energy from outside. It is composed of isolators and dampers, and combination of dampers can be used such as comb dampers, bell dampers, etc. They are easily found and can be fitted in the buildings. And the next part is base isolation system will be continued by Nayan Yamar.
Good afternoon, everyone. My friend already explained about active and the passive system. Now we will discuss about base isolation system. Base isolation systems are passive control systems. These are the external type of system. We will not use any external energy here. So these are generally placed in the foundation. In the word base isolation system only, we can understand that we are isolating something. Here we are separating the superstructure from the ground. Extensively used method which are based on the separation of the building from the ground, allowing the horizontal movement, is generally called as base isolation system. Most effective way to control the displacement is use members which have hydrostatic energy damping capability. Viscous liquids and hydraulic dampers are not used extensively because of expensive price and the money maintenance. A simple hydraulic dampers cost about 3,500 above per pieces, and maintenance is also expensive because when oil starts leaking, we need to replace it. Mechanical apparatus are using the plastic deformation of mild steel and lead, and materials like elastomers are developed. Now you can clearly understand by seeing the diagram. In the first diagram, the first building is attached to fixed base or the ground. When earthquake happens, earth starts moving in a horizontal direction. The building also starting moving in a horizontal direction because it's fixed to ground or fixed base. Hence, there is a chance of building collapse. But when you see the second building, the superstructure is separated from the ground by isolation bearing. Isolation bearings are not allowed to transfer any seismic force to superstructure. Now you can clearly understand it by a small animated video. In the first diagram, we have fixed the building. In the first diagram, we are fixed with the isolated bearing. In the second diagram, we are without isolated bearing. We can understand the difference. In the right picture, it is called as a dampers. Dampers are mainly in the cylindrical structure. It has a piston and oil in it. It's generally placed between the beam and the column of a building at every level. When earthquake happens, the piston will move. Oil starts compressing. While compressing, it will generate the energy. That energy is transferred into heat, dissipating the force of vibration. May I change the slide? In the last picture, it is called as in the first picture we can see the different type of dampers. In the second picture, it is called as a tune mass damper. It is also known as Harmonic observer. It is already used in the Burj Khalifa. Now we will discuss about what are the significance of our project. Earthquake affects the social and economic factor of country. So it is important factor to be considered. If earthquake happens, building will collapse. Then we need to reconstruct the building. It will affect the economic factor of country. This could lead to huge financial and work. So precautions to be taken before this kind of techniques at the initial stage of construction only. The most of the material that are used in the construction once destroyed cannot be reused. That would again need to depend upon the environment for the resources. Sudden failure of the building will generate a lot of dust in there, definitely promoting to air pollution. So here we can take care about before that happens. If we isolating weirs at the initial stage of the construction, we can prevent this problem. Now we will discuss about what are the results of our project is explained by Panduranga.
The result of our projects are this modern regulation of today aim providing the life security in addition to elimination of the damages in buildings caused by major earthquakes. We have situation in which the building would become unusable after a major earthquake that is probable once during lifetime. Reinforcement would not be economical, so precautioning during the construction to be ensure safety to people and buildings. It is natural disaster could not be prevented. Then important is to eliminate the damages by taking precaution against earthquake. Although they are expensive, it should be accepted that is not more important than life. The task of spreading this application belongs to architects and civil engineers. It is clear that the most effective method to provide this is to apply seismic application. Once we have the highest authorizing power are the users. Therefore, spreading such applications will possible by increasing the awareness among the users seriously. Thank you.
Yes, dear students, is it over? Is your work over?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Sir,
sir.
So,
Okay, my question is this. Base isolation technique is already available, right? Different form of dampers are there. Good explanation you have given. So, what is your proposal in this base isolation technique? What is your contribution, your proposal towards this base isolation technique in earthquake
So,
resistant
but it is
structures?
applied. So we can't see this technique in like our country, sir. In other countries, it's almost available on everywhere. But in our country, it we are spreading awareness about techniques, sir.
No, it is
Like
already
most of them are
pre-available technique
unknown
now.
about this.
Already available technique.
Yeah, sir, it's available. Yeah, sir, but in our country, it's not applicable. They're not using the application. So I think we are spreading awareness about the techniques.
So it is like a general class of awareness. There's nothing called as innovation
So
in
here,
this.
even we are planning to use the springs, sir.
no, sir, we are simplifying the isolation bearing. So, we're using the low cost plastic in that. We are simplifying that. So, we are thinking.
No, you must come through your literature little perfectly because the materials whichever is used for base isolation technique, we cannot go
That's
as
why
an
with the base
alternate.
isolation bearing, we're using the
No,
low
no,
cost
no.
base
That
isolation bearing.
that
So,
cannot be done. We must not tell it like low cost. Okay, you can adopt multiple base isolation systems or limited, but whatever you are going to do, that must not be compromised with cost because it is a what to say seismic design is very important concept, and that should not be relied upon money only. Okay, it should be relied upon
okay.
the magnitude of life. Magnitude of life is not relevant about your money. Okay, I would suggest that it is a good explanation for your awareness, but I would suggest that you can show some real time projects, okay, a real time frame or something, how we are adopting your base isolation technique, whether it can be brought to small scale construction. Okay, my advice is that either it is present in huge, enormous, large span structures. Okay, in India also it is available. It is not that it is not available because in India many structurally relevant high-rise buildings are there. They are adopted with seismic dampers. Okay, your prioritization can be that is it possible to adopt a smaller version of seismic dampers in your small scale buildings like residential buildings or such ways. Okay, I would
Okay,
suggest
sir.
to find
Thank
or
you, sir.
urge to find the novelty in your project. Okay, okay, student. Thank you. Okay, student. Thank you. I now request batch number two, Vismaya, Yashwini Prasad, Pranav Jankit, Santanu Chuturi, Yosan 1BY 18CV061, 1BY 18CV062, 018 and 065 to take over the
Hello,
presentation.
sir.
Yes,
Hello, sir. Is it audible?
yes, audible Shantanu. You can
Okay,
present
sir.
now.
Yeah, sure. Good afternoon, everyone. The title of our project is Waste Segregation Using Arduino. This project has been made feasible by our guide, Mr. Vinod BR, alongside students of 5th semester Civil Engineering. We have Pranav Jaikant, Vismaya Srinivas, Yashaswini Prasad, and myself, Shantanu Chaturi. Waste management is a fundamental part of any business, but it can be often forgotten from civil engineering to electromechanical engineering. Responsible with management is utmost importance. We are going to demonstrate a small idea of a vast project in the following slides. Our objective is to reduce the complexity of separating different types of garbage by reducing the use of many trash bins and making a compact and multi-waste storing bin, and by having an automatic separation of different types of garbages like plastic bags, metal can, plastic bottles, and paper. We are aiming at a reduction in the amount of time required for separating garbages by making a modern, stylish, and intelligent trash bin. These new bins will have a hand motion sensor so as to have the lid open upon proximity of the user, eliminating the need of touching the bins, which is very much required in this COVID world. Finally, we will be having an automatic air freshener, which will help to maintain a good smell. What is the significance of our project? If waste is not separated properly, it all gets mixed up in landfills, increasing the surface area used. Therefore, degradable waste is organic in its contents and does not cause harm to the earth, but non-biodegradable waste damages the environment. It increases the pollution load on earth and becomes an issue. However, its inorganic nature makes it good for recycling units, and that's where we should be headed. Effective segregation of waste means that less waste goes to the landfill, which makes it cleaner for us and the environment. In particular, hazardous waste can cause long-term health problems, so it is very important that they are disposed of correctly and safely and not mixed in with the normal waste coming out of your home or office. The methodology of our project includes the basic working principle of the project is that when a waste enters the bin, it falls onto a conveyor belt and it first comes in contact with an inductive proximity sensor to check whether the waste is a metal or not. Further, the waste is checked of its moisture by a moisture sensor before being deposited into the appropriate bin. My colleague here, Pranav, will do a better visual explanation of this project. And I suggest I want to pin his video for he'll be explaining. Pranav, onto you.
Thank you, Sean.
Yeah.
I request everyone to please pin my video. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Pranav Jaikant, and I'll be explaining the components of our model. First, we've used an Arduino in order to connect the laptop to our circuitry. This is the conveyor belt over which the waste will be placed in order to be segregated. We have two sensors, namely the inductive proximity sensor and the moisture sensor. The inductive proximity sensor is to test whether the waste is metal, and the moisture sensor is in order to test whether it is wet. The wastes are going to be placed on the conveyor belt in order to be segregated. First, they go past the inductive proximity sensor. If tested as positive, the servo arms motor is going to turn and divert it into the metal waste bin. If not, it is going to continue along the conveyor belt to the moisture sensor. At the moisture sensor, it is tested for moisture content, and if tested as positive, the servo arm motor pushes it into the wet waste bin, else it continues and falls in the dry waste bin. That's how it gets segregated. Shan is going to now continue with the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Pranav. The components of our structure includes an Arduino R3, servo motors, DC motors, a moisture sensor, and an inductive proximity sensor, as Pranav has said. The working of the system. Next. So what is the future of this type of project? The future of this waste segregator is that it can be used in housing societies or large complexes. Due to its cost and modularity, it can be implemented on a large scale as well as with some modifications, such as using a robotic arm along with a conveyor belt will make the process of segregation easier. The addition of magnets for removal of ferrous metal or the post-treatment of a flotation tank for segregation of PET plastics, and further, the recycling of PET into paper. Also, more sensors can be used to segregate biodegradable and non-biodegradable waste, eliminating the requirement of human interaction. The advantages of this automatic waste segregation. It can handle a variety of materials, both municipal solid waste as well as mining waste. A specialized deodorization system can help make a cleaner and healthier working environment. A monitoring system to keep the working process smooth and running. The whole automatic separating machine is in a sealed space so as to reduce waste pollution. There is also a de-dusting system in place for sorting of materials producing large amounts of dust, such as mining waste. The structure of this machine is very easy for transportation and installation. Next. So what we have concluded and the result that we have obtained is this automatic waste segregator has been successfully implemented for the segregation of waste into metallic, dry, and wet waste at a domestic level. The system can segregate different types of waste with an assigned priority for metal, wood, dry, and glass waste. The experiment has been conducted for wet, dry, glass, and metallic waste, and we have found out that the change of capacitive count value is greater for wet waste and very less for dry waste. Other objects, such as glass and wood, have intermediate relative dielectric constant and thus are detected as dry waste. Our experimental results have shown that the waste have been successfully segregated into the appropriate bins using the automatic waste segregator. Thank you.
Okay, Shantanu, that was an impressive presentation that you people have done. Okay, and that segregator, that automated segregator.
Yes, sir.
So are you people actually fabricating it? Is it in the
Yes, sir.
process of? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then how economical it would be?
It is economical in a way that we don't have to use like a lot of money to build the parts for that because it's mainly controlled by the Arduino and it's modular. So any input that we need to give to separate certain materials, it will be given to that, and then it will automatically separate it by using different parts such as a robotic arm or magnets.
Yes,
So you
you
just
have
have to give the
used
commands.
yes. You have used two of the sensors, right? One to segregate the metallic,
Metal, yeah.
And the other one, if other
Moisture.
than non-metallic waste.
Yes, sir.
So the second
Yes.
is for moisture. So it tests whether it's wet or not.
Yes, if it is wet and you will segregate dry and wet. What if there are other than metallic and non-metallic? Say there is a plastic.
So there are different
Have you?
sensors which can be used even for plastic, but we didn't implement it this time.
Yes, That is
Yes,
what I am
because it's
suggesting.
hmm. So because as I said earlier, for example, we have, as you said, we have plastic and metal together
Hmm.
in a waste. For
Hmm.
example, we have a toy and we have a piece of metal.
Yes.
So due to the high modularity of this project, we can just implement a magnet. So that magnet, it will like attract all the ferrous metal, and
What if the
the
metal is non-ferrous?
okay, if the
Aluminium,
metal
okay,
is
aluminium.
So there's a sensor which
but yeah,
detects specifically plastic also.
that capacitive count, that is the first sensor,
Hmm.
because usually all materials have a dielectric constant.
Hmm.
So a plastic's dielectric constant will be to a certain number, and metals will be relatively high. So whenever
Hmm.
a metal pass and a plastic passes, so that metal will get checked as metal because of its dielectric constant, and it gets
Hmm.
thrown in the metallic bin, whereas the plastic just gets passed directly onto the moisture sensor.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, man. Thank you. That was nice presentation, you group.
thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
So then I would ask next batch, okay, the next group to present. That is Srirag, Anusha TG, Varun Purad, and Dakshata Ravi Kumar. So USN is 18CV044, 18CV009, 18CV058, and 18CV012. So let's Redact team start your presentation.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. I would like to share my screen now.
Your screen is not visible.
Sir, is it visible now?
Yes.
Okay, sir. So I would like to start
Make
by
the start the
yes, sir.
slide screen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, sir. I would like to start by saying by welcoming you guys and good afternoon to everyone present here. So, the team consists of Anusha TG, Varun Purad, Srirag, and I, Dr. Ravi Kumar. And we have our project has been guided by Mr. Vinod BR. And the title of our PBR project is Brick Using PPE Mask Aggregates. So, the whole idea behind this project was that we are currently under an ongoing pandemic, COVID-19, and the main thing is that we as a team have uh, tried to think about the recycling effort. And the recycling effort is one small step towards addressing a global environmental hazard. And countries all around the world at this point have increased production of personal protective equipment (PPE), which is made of um, material which takes years and years to degrade. So, as one step to help in this process, we I've used this material in our bricks, and uh, I would like to start by giving you a mathematical vision by saying that in just April month, 20,000 tons of COVID related biomedical waste were generated in India itself. So, we as a team have taken one step towards helping in this environmental pollution. So first, I'd like to start by showing an index to see what we have lying ahead. It starts with objectives, and then we get to the significance related to the society and environment, the significance that our project has towards the environment. And then we'll talk about the materials that have been used. And then the materials and process pictures will be shown. And then the methodology and the future scope of our project. And we will end with the conclusion. So first, the objectives of our project is that one, the safe disposal of hazardous waste. As in our project, the main ingredient is the PPE mask aggregates that we have used, which is made of masks. And uh, in India, and not only in India, all around the world, people have been legally advised on using PPE, person protective equipment, whereas on the other hand, not much awareness is being spread about the disposal factors. So we as the citizens of the country should take a step towards the safe disposal of the mass which are produced in large numbers. So yeah, this is one of the objectives. And then reducing the oceanic pollution and hence helping in survival of marine life. And again, this is scientifically proven that at this point there are way more mass in the ocean than even jellyfish. So this project will help in protecting the marine life, and then controlling the spread of virus by reducing public litter. Again, if the masks are thrown here and there, the spread of the virus can increase. So this project will help in controlling the spread of the virus, and then to help in finding an affordable and eco-friendly way to reuse PPE masks, PPE waste, and then to try and create an aggregate which is durable and lightweight, which indirectly will make the brick more light in weight than the regularly used commercial bricks. So in this process, we can actually stop using commercial bricks altogether if it works, and use our bricks, which will also be more economical in nature as the price will be lesser than the regularly used commercial bricks. And then this will help to solve the big problem posed by the protective gear ending up in landfills and creating an increased amount of waste around us. Again, if these masks end up going into landfills, they take a million, around like 1,000 years to degrade. So if they don't end up in landfills and we end up using them, it's better for the environment altogether. And this is just a small bar graph of the number of masks that were produced. So here the y-axis shows the quantity produced in pieces, and the x-axis shows the months. So in 2020, the black part of the bar talks about the number of face masks in numbers. So around 4 crore face masks were produced in just the month of April. So, and it's been growing ever since. So yeah, this is one thing. And now I'll be talking about the significance related to the society and environment. To just give you a gist of these points, the first point talks about how these, again, these masks are made out of non-woven fabrics such as polypropylene, which is between 20 and 25 grams per square meter in density. And this material takes a really long time to degrade. So the masks are plastic-based, liquid-resistant products that have a long afterlife after they are discarded and ending up in landfills or oceans. So by using them, we're actually helping the environment. And second thing is the adverse environmental impact of such clinical debris during COVID-19 are far-reaching. Once these are left discarded in an animal's natural habitat, be it land or water, this may cause animals to mistake it for this trash for food, which could lead to entanglement, choking, and indigestion. So this point is self-explanatory. If the masks are kept here and there, the animals will think of it as food, and it might lead to their death. And then the third point is certain portions of the population are at risk of adverse impacts from exposure to medical waste, such as as well, such as cleaners, garbage collectors, and other people who spend a great deal of time in public spaces. So the people who actually collect these masks, if they're just left and not put into litter bins properly, the people who touch them, for example, the cleaners have a lot of chances of getting the virus. So this controls that. Our project controls that. And then, according to the World Health Organization's health guidelines, soil tissues and used face masks must be thrown only into lidded litter bins, while any medical gear used by affected patients and hospital staff must be sterilized and burnt at high temperatures in dedicated incinerators. So basically, in our project also, when we collect the masks, we keep them in lidded bins for at least 72 hours before we even start the process, as 72 hours is the saturation time. Hence, we are abiding by the guidelines given by the World Health Organization. Okay, next I'll be talking about the materials that we have used. So we have used a mold which is 19 into 19 into 7 centimeters. So it's a cuboidal mold. And we have used M20 grade cement, which in the amount 1.018 kgs. And then we have used fine. Yes, sir.
Let me interrupt you. There
Yes,
is a
sir.
thing called as M20 grade cement. Have
Sir?
you studied concrete technology? There is 53 grade cement, 43 grade cement, 33 grade cement. M20 is not a grade of cement. Let me tell you.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I rephrase myself. M20 cement. And then we have used fine aggregates, which is 1.527 kgs. And we have used PPE mask aggregates, which we have made by combining these shredded masks and cement with water. And we have let it settle and become rock solid. And then we have used them in our project. And then coarse aggregates and water, 610 ml approximately. And then these are just a few pictures of the process, and which talks about the process. So we collected the mass and then we let it settle for the saturation time, which is 72 hours. And then we shredded them and desanitized them. And then we combined it with cement to make and water to make these PPE mask aggregates. And then we mixed it with sand and fine coarse aggregates with water, and hence we, and then after the mixture was made, we put it into the mold. And then I'll talk about the methodology once more. First, we carried out a research on different types of materials suitable for the success of the project. So we needed to know how much to use in how much material to use in what amount. So we carried out a research on that. And then we collected the PPE masks from multiple public sectors, keeping the Central Pollution Control Board guidelines in mind. As they don't allow us to take masks from everywhere, we kept those guidelines in mind and only then collected the masks. And then we kept the mask idle for 72 hours, as that is the saturation time. And then we started the desanitization process. And then we shredded the desanitized mass in order to make aggregates. And then we mixed the shredded mass with cement, allowing it to dry for 12 hours in order to form rock hard aggregates. And then we did the mixing of desanitized mask aggregates with the necessary materials in the required ratio, which was mentioned before. And then we transferred the mixture into a brick mold and allowed it to set for 24 hours. And also, while we put it into the mold, we put it in 3 layers. And after every layer, we compacted it 25 times. And then we were carrying out the necessary tests on the brick, i.e. Strength test, absorption test, and water absorption test, hardness test, etc. And then if after the success of the test carried out, the bricks are ready for commercial use. This is the methodology behind the process. And here I have a few advantages of this project. So the first one is allowing recycling of PPE masks, which was our main idea behind the project. And then aggregates are light in weight and hence very easy to work with. So if not in just making bricks, it can be used in other parts of our construction field itself. And then they can be used for insulation. This seems to be most practical application suitable for moderately cool regions. So these can be, when these molds are have high insulation, so they can be used in cooler regions. And then if the brick is covered with aluminum foil, perhaps glued with epoxy, they could withstand UV much better. So they can be used in places with harsh sunlight. And then they should be sufficiently economical with potential to easy recycling. Under submerged condition, they should last much longer. And the last thing is exotic shapes are possible for decorative purposes. And then the future scope is that the PP mask aggregates can be used in construction projects due to its lightweight and economic purpose. It can be used in many forms in the bricks, tiles, roads, pavements, etc. And when the masks are made use for in these structures, the cost of the project can be controlled to a high extent and hence would be more cost effective. And I would like to conclude by saying that the COVID-19 pandemic has forced the global population to adopt new ways of living, including sustainable practices. And upon. Hence, efforts towards finding more sustainable solutions to support the surplus production and disposal of masks were discussed. And that's what my teammates and I have tried doing with this project. And our project aims at the recycling of these wastes, which in turn helps in their safe disposal and avoids contamination of oceans and clogging of landfills. Thank you, everybody. And now my teammate Srirag will show you the visual representation of our project.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'd request everyone to pin my screen. Is my screen visible, sir?
Yes, it is visible.
Yes, sir. So these are the aggregates that we made with PP mask, and this is our mold that we have made. So we have let it to dry set. So after the pandemic is over, we will be able to use the lab. So when we use the lab, we'll be testing this the properties of this model, and we'll be performing other permutation and combinations of PP aggregates and normal aggregates, and we'll be finding out the properties, and we'll be making a comparison between red bricks, normal concrete bricks, and the bricks that we have made. So this is our model, and these are the aggregates, as I said, which are made by using PP masks. So thank you, sir.
Okay, Shirag. And Dakshata and Shirag, it was nice presentation, I should tell you. But these PPE aggregates that you are saying, I don't think so it will be so effective, or it will be strong enough, okay, to be used for pavement.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, you need to have to do some testings. Then only you can that you can use those PP aggregates for the pavement. But one thing I can suggest you, in order to the thought you are sharing, in order to have the waste management. So have you thought about landfills?
Yes, sir.
Rather
We
than
have looked at landfills and oceans in mind, sir.
Sorry?
Yes, sir. We have kept those in mind and only then thought about this, as because of this, a lot of masks are ending up in dump yards, and which take a lot of time to degrade.
So you should have different alternatives in order to have the waste management system, right? Only sticking to preparing the aggregates and all, so it won't solve the problem. Okay, although you are proposing some different kind of materials, then it should be viable also in order to have the construction, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We understand, but this will control a lot of if it starts being used on a large scale, it can actually control use to a very big extent.
Okay, so I would suggest you to explore few other things. Okay, explore few other options in order to have the the waste management that you are proposing. It is actually a very good thought. Okay, so
Okay,
I
sir.
to explore few other options.
So, and one more idea we had is, see, if the project is successful, we can collaborate with government organizations to set up eco-friendly bins at public places. so that the collection is easy and collection is safe, and the disposal
Yes.
and the recycling process will also be easy and safe. In that way, we can take care of the landfills also, sir.
Okay. Okay, man. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
so
sir.
much, sir. Thank you, sir.
So the next batch, it is by Adarsh Kumar Jha, Mansi S, Shubham Kumar, and Adarsh Shukla. No, sorry, Shubham Kumar, right? So the USNs are CV002, CV004, 18CV024, and 18CV041. You people kindly start your presentation.
Okay, sir.
You are presenting your poster.
Yeah, yeah.
You should. You were also asked to present this thing. No, prepare the slides and present your slides.
Okay, sir, after poster, we are presenting slides.
No, no. You have only one option. You will be given only 10 minutes for the presentation.
Okay, okay, sir.
Present either slide or the poster.
No, don't do this. So don't think about something else. Say whatever you know. Like I said.
Shall I start, sir?
Yes, Adarsh, you can start.
Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Adarsh, and my team members comprise of Aditya, Mansi, Shubham. So, our topic of project is permeable pavement, and we'll go through the objective, the materials required, the economics, the methodology, and the probable outcomes of our project. So, in urban catchments, payments can amount up to 25% of impermeable surfaces. That is, the payments are a major generator of runoff. One way to control the runoff is to use permeable pavements. So, basically, in this project, we are showcasing the benefits of using permeable pavements and how it can be used in flood-borne areas or the urban areas where water fills up regularly during rainy seasons. So, the main outcomes of the projects are uh, the main objectives of the project are to reduce the amount of rainfall runoff from the pavement surfaces and thereby to eliminate or minimize the extent of stormwater drainage system, to reduce the size or the need of rainwater retention facilities in roadworks by using the pavement itself for retention. This improves land use. The third point is to reduce or avoid downstream flooding, then to recharge and maintain aquifers and the natural groundwater, and then to trap pollutants that would otherwise contaminate groundwater or the drainage systems. So our last objective will be to assist in the biological decomposition of the hydrocarbon contaminants which come with the rainwater. So now my friend Shivam will tell us about the methodology and the significance.
So good morning, friends. I'm Subham with methodology of our project. So permeable pavement can be modeled with various type of permeable surfaces such as porous asphalt, pervious concrete, and permeable interlocking concrete. So these can be used as alternative to conventional impervious hard surfaces such as road, car parking, and footpaths. All material we are using here are permeable. Such example, for topmost layer is made up of porous asphalt, consists of bituminous asphalt in which fines have been screened and reduced, creating void a space to make it highly permeable for water. Then we use choker cores, also called as a stabilizing cores. Then after, aggregate discharge surface And in last, we are using non-woven geotextile will be provided. Then permeable pavement must be designed not only to carry traffic but also to manage runoff, infiltration, pollutant transport, and where appropriate water harvesting. They therefore present new technical problems and challenges to the pavement designer that are not covered by conventional pavement design methods. In particular, the section, specification, and characterization of material used in surface, base, and sub-base of permeable pavement require designers to modify existing design methodology to facilitate water movement through the pavement, uh, maintaining satisfactory serviceability under traffic in saturation condition, and to provide adequate water storage where required. So next significance will be explained by Aditya.
Good morning, friends. Myself Aditya. I will explain about significance of preamble pavement. So the first one is easy to install. It doesn't require expensive equipment such as asphalt or concrete. So it's cheaper as for this pavement is easy to carry it out. Grid required to laid out are light enough to carry it out by the single person. So it's easy to install. Second one is durability. It is long lasting as porous asphalt pavement can last up to 20 years. So in cracks or pothole, it is durable because it retains the ability to handle rainwater for many years. So it's commonly used in parking lots, walkways, playground, and even on higher volume highways. And the third one is sustainability, as it uses more sustainable resources such as straw bales, bamboo, reuse plastic, woods, timbercrete. The preamble pavement, the creeks that use the preamble pavement are made from environmentally friendly materials such as I mentioned, bamboo, plastics. The resources used in preamble pavement are eco-friendly as it produces less emission and pollution of the environment. Now the fourth one is it's low cost. It is cheaper because cost is low because less use of natural resources such as mineral, significant reducing in transport, low cost of new material, less amount of energy used in obtaining and processing new materials. Asphalt and concrete needs manpower as it installation can be expensive, but preamble pavement is less expensive per square feet and is much less labor intensive. It can be temporary as the grids are removable and recyclable. Grids can be laid down over a simple bed of gravel or reasonably flat soil, the filled with gravel or limestone, or create a temporary parking. Now the next slide will explain by Mansi, and she will tell you about the results.
Good afternoon, everyone. So the probable outcomes of the permeable pavement is that the permeable pavement catches the precipitation and surface runoff, sorting it in the reservoir while slowly allowing it to infiltrate into the soil below. Permeable pavement reduces the volume and improves the water quality of the stormwater runoff by allowing water to infiltrate on its structure, easily integrate with other water control strategies in the urban drainage systems. This solution is well known, commercially available, and referred to many municipal legislations. This is a literature review which we discussed, which is discussing about the permeable pavements in the urban drainage by analyzing the runoff volume reduction and the quality improvement. Thank you.
Are you people done with your explanation? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you people are speaking about the Permeable pavements. So will that have a design life? Okay, you may be building for about say 30 years of considering 15 years of design life. Okay, so what would be the design life of permeable pavements? So there will be water will be penetrating it. Okay, so it may be affecting the strength of the pavements as well. So have you considered the strength of the pavement? Others, Aditya,
Yes, sir.
you didn't give any response.
Sir, most preamble application we have lifespan of ranging from 10 to 20 years, sir. And it's a rule, a conservative value for design life would be
Mansi, do you have any response for this?
So it like when we use it, it depends on the load which is acting on the pavement, sir. Like when we use it on playgrounds and something like that, then like on the pedestrian ways and all, the durability will be more, like it'll come for more years.
So you are proposing for the footpaths and all.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you,
However,
sir.
good presentation, but the thing is you prepared this thing, poster very beautifully, and the slides, they were all simple enough. They didn't have any figures and all.
So actually we thought of explaining it with the poster, but after that just changed.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, students. Good presentation regarding pervious concrete pavement. Have you decided your target strength? Have you decided your target strength? Am I audible to you, guys? Went out. Okay, students, we will go on to the next batch. Next batch, Adarsh Chukla, Pankaj Kumar Singh, Shuyash, Shasti, and Ram Narayan. 1BY 18CV 003 033 052 040 and 17CV 044. Can now begin the presentation. Yes, students, you can present now. We are not audible. Yes, students, we could see your screen, whereas we couldn't hear your voice. Are we audible? Anybody else can reply? Are we people audible? We could see only the screen.
Good afternoon, sir. So that was our poster, and I'll continue with the PPT.
Yes, in poster, you can speak something, right? Just to showcase the poster. You can speak on posters. Students, if I'm audible, you can showcase your posters, you can explain that for a short time, and then you can go with your PPT. Because since you have prepared posters regarding your diagrams, flowcharts, and all, you can present your poster for 2 to 3 minutes, then you can go on with your PPT.
No.
Dear students, are they audible?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Adarsh Shukla. My team members are Pankaj Kumar Singh, Suyesh Piparia, Shrashti Bagel, and Ram Narayan. Our topic is COVID Isolation Center using shipping containers. So, as we know, coronavirus is spreading exponentially. Need for isolation centers has increased. Our healthcare sector has fragile failure in financial state during pre-COVID times. Government agencies are facing a lot of difficulties, so we came up with an idea of using shipping containers with certain modifications as isolation centers. So this is our design. It's a 3D view. This is the plan of a shipping container isolation center. And now is the cross section of 3D view. It has certain advantages such as reduced time of construction, mobility, toughness, durability, economic construction, and structural stability. It has certain disadvantages as well, temperature factor and refurbishing issues. Now my friend Pankaj Kumar will explain advantages and disadvantages.
Hello guys. There are some advantages and disadvantages of the shipping containers. Like advantages, it's like a green building, cost effective. Like we can stable anywhere, like in a forest, and it's like a cost effective and structural stability. Like container are also shipping container design bearing having loads withstand harsh climate conditions as well as and speed of construction like we can make easily, and also we can collect from the off-sites constructions, and it is very durable for the safety purpose. And some cons like disadvantage, it's heating it's not suitable in a heating weathers like these shipping containers are large steel boxes, so meaning that they absorb and transmit heat and cold very well. And that's all. This is the things for advantage and disadvantage. Thank you.
Are you people done?
Yes, sir.
Others, so you are proposing the shipping container for the COVID isolated center, okay? But these are already there. What is
No,
new thing to tell?
they are being used for construction of houses and malls. They haven't been used for isolation centers yet.
No, no. However, people they are using containers as a house at
Yes, sir, they are.
some places. So why couldn't it be used for a isolation center? People they are using in some parts, in different parts of the country.
Yeah, sir. But as our government had launched the Atmanirbhar program, sir, under that we can use these containers, sir.
Government is not using that. That is other thing. But government is using train compartments.
Yes, sir, they are.
Then
Likewise, they can use this
they
also.
thought rather than using the this thing the shipping containers, they thought they are somehow they have advantages, so they are using these have lot of disadvantages, as you were mentioning regarding the temperature and all. So
Yes,
if you would overcome all of these disadvantages and propose the shipping container, then that would be a viable, right?
yes, sir.
So you should think some other way or some other proposals you need to give for the COVID isolation center if you are looking for COVID isolation center. Or if you want to use the shipping container for different other purposes, then that is other thing. But this is already done. People they are using.
Okay, sir. So, because I have read it somewhere that these shipping containers are kept as scrap, so they can be used this way, I thought. That's why we did this project, sir.
Then you should have a proper literature check. You have not done some research. That means okay. You will have to go through okay properly and come up with a solution.
Okay, sir.
Uh, as the poster, as we said, the poster was good, okay, and some good efforts you have put. Thanks, man.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay, then I would ask the next batch, I mean the next team to give the presentation. So the next team would be Ritika Raj, Nitish Sharma, Alekhya B, and Joyesh Meshkoshi. USN would be 18CV035, 18CV031, 18CV007, and 18CV019.
Sir, 036, sir. My USN is 036.
Oh, Ritika Rajas is 036. Sorry. Okay.
Yes.
You can start your presentation.
Yes, sir. Just give us a minute. We'll just share our screen. Good afternoon. I am Ritika from 5th semester Civil Department BMSIT and I shall be presenting our project on water monitoring. Constant supervision of water levels is a very tedious and time consuming process which requires multiple measurements, constant checking, and manpower. To combat this, we developed an app which makes it convenient to monitor water levels from any place at any time. This also ensures a constant supply of water without any interruptions. Coming to the significance and applications, water level indicators can be used in various fields. They can be used in factories, especially where large quantities of liquids are manufactured or produced. Then it can be used in water tanks and sumps of houses, apartments, and commercial complexes. They are also applicable in fuel tanks, in automobiles, and in aircrafts, and can give an estimate of how much fuel is remaining. Then it can also be used to measure quantity of oil in oil tanks and the water level in swimming pools. They are then used in cooling towers. They can also be used in sewers to check that the sewage does not exceed its capacity. It is also used to measure the level of streams and rivers, especially in flood-prone areas during heavy rainfall. It is also used to measure water levels in sumps and to control the amount of water supplied to fields for irrigation purposes. It can be used to detect leakages in pipes as there will be a sudden drop in water level in case of a leakage, and this can be detected by our app. And the water levels in artificial and natural reservoirs can also be measured using this. This can also be used to measure water levels in overhead tanks, and it is also applicable in measuring water levels in open wells and bore wells. So our app is applicable for all these applications mentioned. Coming to why it is useful, it can save water as it prevents overflowing of tanks and also helps detect leakages. So it saves water that way. It can also save electricity as it prevents the tank from running dry. It also consumes very little energy, so it is perfect for long time continuous use. It can be used in any kind of tank, so it is very convenient for any sort of operation. In this manner, it reduces maintenance cost and it can save money, manpower, and time. Alekia shall now take over the presentation.
Good afternoon. I'm Alekia and I shall now present the methodology we used for this project. The components we used for the current project are the Node MCU. The Node MCU is basically the control unit of the project. This is where all the instructions and the programs were saved, which this was the part which gave instructions to the different components. We used an ultrasonic sensor, which works on the principle of an echo. The ultrasonic sensor sends off ultrasonic waves, and these waves reflect off of barriers, which in this case would be water, and thus measures the distance. We use the relay and pump for continuous supply of water. And since all the different components use different voltages of power, we use an IC chip for regulating the voltage. And we use the 9-volt battery as a power source. The first thing that was done was setting up of a Firebase to store all the data. And the Firebase is basically a database where all the URLs and APIs that we needed for the data the app was stored. And then we created the app from an application. And then we wrote the code in C++ and Arduino IDE for the Node MCU, which is where all the instructions and all the process that is involved in the system was done. And after connecting all the hardware components, we uploaded the code of the Node MCU into it, and then the product was tested. The ultrasonic sensor sent out waves and information which the Node MCU collected and processed and sent it to the app on the phone. And the power source powered the ultrasonic sensor, the Node MCU, and the relay and pump. Now we shall show a demonstration of our app. This is just a prototype of the original project that we had planned on.
Is that it?
Yes, sir. Actually, our original project was also supposed to include manual and automatic control of the pump, where if the water level reaches a maximum level, it will turn off the pump automatically, and if it reaches a minimum level, it will start the pump automatically, and it can also be switched on manually through the app. Everything was done through the app, but we were not able to do this because we weren't able to come to college. So this
So
is our presentation.
please, can you please anyone explain me what that Node MCU does, or what is the principle of it?
Sir, Node MCU is like a CPU, sir. Like in the CPU, of a computer, it we send information. It collects like sensory sort of information from like microphone or something like that. So in this case, the ultrasonic sensor sends information to the Node MCU. The Node MCU, like the CPU of the system, it will analyze that information. Like let's say we program like the CPU to like say, okay, if this thing should be greater than this value, then do this. So that's basically what we program and put into
Process the
the
logic,
Node
whatever
MCU.
you code, right?
Yes, sir. Exactly. Yes, sir.
So,
So yes.
how would you give the
How we give the input? The ultrasonic sensor senses how much water is there in the tank, and it sends that information to the Node MCU. The Node MCU then analyzes that and sends water level to our app.
Okay, so is that app in the place?
Sir, can you repeat?
Is that app that you are doing or
Yes, sir.
developing? No. So is it in a phase of development, or
Yes, sir.
so you people have written the code and all?
Yes, sir. Actually, some parts of the code we had to like refer some websites and all, but like other parts we wrote it.
Okay, that's fine, ma. Thank you.
So, and I would like to add why this is better than like your automatic motor and all, because this whole setup it will this thing cost only like 600 rupees to make, and like even if we use like a heavy duty pump and like a very expensive sensor, it still works out to be cheaper than what is in the market currently. And it is more like usually in these automatic these things and all, you have to like read the meter, but in this case it is easily accessible in the phone. You can read it from anywhere and it is easily readable also, and this uses much less electricity than your normal this one sensors and motors.
Okay.
Thank you,
But
sir.
for the calibration and all, so what
Yes,
sensor
sir.
you used?
Ultrasonic sensor, sir. Like it sends ultrasonic waves, and these waves will go hit the water surface and come back. So it calculates how much time it took to do that, and then calculates distance based on that, because ultrasonic waves will have a fixed speed in air.
Okay. Okay. Then what are the other applications? Do you have any other applications that you can propose?
Yes, sir. This can be used in any kind of tank, or like any liquid. So it can be used in oil tankers. It can be used in like so in any kind of factory where they're like producing many like liquid components. And then it is like you can use it to measure fuel, how much fuel is left in your car or your this thing. Then in swimming pools, cooling towers, as I mentioned before, and in streams also, to like know if, like, in flood prone areas during heavy rainfall and all. And then in sumps to see how much water is left or how much is there. Then for irrigation to see for like fields and all, like how much water we should give for like rice fields and all especially. Then can like supposing there's a leakage, the water level will like drop now, so we can detect that with our app. And so you can like know if there's any leakage in any pipes, so it can be installed in any pipes to know if there is some sort of leakage also. Then any dams, reservoirs, and overhead tanks, and open wells, bore wells, all of these.
Okay. That is a very impressive presentation, I should say. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Alekia.
Thank you, sir.
Then I would ask the next team, okay? Amar Anwar, D. Pranay Reddy, Sharom Sheikh, and Taha Misbah to present your slides. 17CV067, 17CV018, and then 18CV055 and 18CV054. Title is
Good
Domestic
afternoon,
Systems.
sir.
Yeah.
Okay, so today we'd like to present our project, which is basically an idea, a proposal. And I may ask my team member Amar Anwar to present the screen.
Amar Anwar, is he there? Sharom.
Yes, sir, is there, but
Yes, sir.
there's some technical issue, sir. 1 second.
Okay, so the first slide, as you see, this is our project named Energy Recovery System, done by my team members Taha Misbah, Amar Anwar, Pranay Reddy, and myself, Shahrukh Sheikh. So the first slide that you see on your screen is our humble representation of what we like to visualize as an urbanized city transformed to a green city. That could be the future of perhaps India. Next slide, you see there are many news articles presented to you. As we know, during this pandemic situation, we have seen in the news and everywhere flashing that there have been massive floods, especially in Assam and recently in Hyderabad. Few of these clippings basically focus on the point of climate change. So our objective and significance of our project would be explained by Taha. Taha, over to you.
Thank you, Sharon. So, the objective of our project is to extract and store greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide and methane present in environment, that is through industrial emissions, burning of fuels, vehicle exhaust, etc. The next slide. And to further convert the stored gases into energy or fuel through catalytic conversions. This results in the reduction of amount of toxic gases, pollutants from trucks, factories, buses, cars, etc.
Next, we move on to our literature review that we went through various research papers and innovations that have come up with respect to renewable energy and, to be more precise, with respect to green energy. So the first point that you see is a research done by Eric Court, and it is also one of his innovations, where he is an atmospheric scientist who has developed an aeroplane and aircraft which comprises of a specially built device that is specifically used to measure the greenhouse gases. So he's the one who flies the aircraft himself and takes over to specific areas, locations where the greenhouse gases needs to be measured. Next, the research paper says is based on a greenhouse gas, where the University have come up with a system that basically converts a greenhouse gas, specifically carbon dioxide, into liquefied fuel. So it basically involves an electrolysis reactor, and the concept used is natural energy, where it recycles CO2 to produce liquefied fuel that could be stored. And again, this stored energy can be used as a green fuel, whereas the resulting carbon dioxide could be recycled again. The third research paper is with respect to vehicle gas exhaust that also releases carbon dioxide. So this innovation has been mentioned in a blog, which is the most recently mentioned in the month of November, where they use the similar principles to also recycle carbon dioxide emitted from the cars. So this slide here represents one of the few other articles and excerpts that emphasize for the move and the change pursuing for climate change solutions. For this project, we have gone through various processes, and among them, you see the different methodologies we have gone through. First was data collections, but specifically with respect to what climate changes, what causes climate change. Second, the various renewable energy techniques innovations, which you shall see in the further slides, and greenhouse gas-based innovations, which I've just explained. Next, we went to analysis and a comparative study with the same research papers. And lastly, it will be our future scope, which is an extended study. These graphs and charts are from the various analysis done specific to India, which basically represents the carbon dioxide emissions. And as you can see in the fourth graph on your bottom right, it shows how carbon dioxide emissions for the first time since 1982 have dropped in 2020, which is this year, the year of pandemic. So you can basically visualize how us staying inside and being quarantined at homes have actually benefited the environment by reducing CO2 emissions. Next slide would be the various renewable energy innovations that have come. We know our basic, our standard solar panels, which are rectangular shape, but on your bottom right, you can see a flower shape. So these are 90-degree inclined to the sun and can basically opens and closes how a sunflower does. The top right corner represents a wind tree, which is a modern version, an advanced version of a windmill. And this advantage, it has an advantage that it can be installed in your commercial city, in your locality, adjacent to your own house. Onto your top left, corner, you see an advanced version of a water turbine, unlike the huge dams, and but they work on the same principle. So these are a few of the recent innovations that have come to the standard stereotypical renewable sources of energy of solar, wind, and water. Our next slide represents the analysis done and the deduction we got from the research papers. So the first scenario of the research which we went through was the aircraft that measures greenhouse gases. But what from our analysis we found that these aircrafts also indirectly consume fuel, which is mostly the non-renewable energy of coal or petroleum. Also, these are large and they are time consuming. They also involve labor, which can be a slight drawback to our motive. From the second research paper, we see with respect to India, the existing technologies of normal wind and the um, general advantage of windmills, etc., they cannot be installed in a normal locality. They cannot be used for commercial purpose. And next, we also know key carbon dioxide and methane, which get converted, as in the case of the third research paper, where they liquefy it, cannot always be stored as a in the form of liquid, because we know they are highly compressible and also flammable. So these drawbacks and disadvantage is what has resulted us to pursue for our project. Next, over to Pranay, who will describe the process of how carbon dioxide is exactly converted to form a green fuel or electricity.
Hi guys, there are two
Over to
types
you,
of
Pranay.
yeah, thank you, Sharon. There are two types of power to gas. One is a method where the electrical current passes in water to separate H2 and O2 by the process of electrolysis. Then H2 mixed with natural gas combining, then the natural gas system produces the electricity. The one more method is the where the carbon dioxide plus hydrogen is added, and the process is known as methanation, and then that is converted to water plus synthetic methane produces electricity. Or can you show the video? These are the two methods which I told, which is explained in this video. There's a lot of energy wasting due to the sunlight. The solution is the gases which can be stored in the pipeline. The idea is there is the water which comes to this, and the oxygen is added, and the electrolysis process where oxygen and hydrogen are separated and mixes into the uh, CH4 thing. Now I give up. I hand over to Amar.
Is it done, Pranay?
Yes, Amar is
Pranay?
explaining.
Okay. I think Amar's voice is not audible. Is it so?
I believe he's got some technical issue with his mic. So I'll take over for the result part instead. And as you can see, so from these, so what Pranay just explained was a method called as power to gas generation. So in our study, in our analysis, we found that the carbon dioxide and methane is basically converted in a liquefied form through two processes, namely electrolysis for carbon dioxide and a process called methanogenesis through for methane, both of which can be used to generate electricity directly, unlike what we know that kind of already exist in the market as maybe LPG, CNG, and all that. So through this, we propose an energy recovery system specific to greenhouse gas emissions by recycling and paving a way for a green energy. Also, there are it basically shows that the atmospheric methane can directly be tapped to produce a green fuel for electricity and power. Also, through our analysis of the recent of the mentioned research papers and the video presented, we get to know that renewable energy along with green energy together can produce about tens of terawatt hour of electricity, which is even much greater than the nuclear gas power, which is indirectly a way of another renewable existing renewable energy. So this in a way paves for a way of green fuel and green energy, which is perhaps a next level of the existing renewable energy. I'll move on to the next slide that basically represents the future scope of our study of our project, which had to be the initial stage actually, but because of lack of laboratory facilities and experimental analysis, we decided to take this on as a future scope where we digitalize the data of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. We provide automation, perhaps involve AI technology in it, and in the same fashion, design and develop the prototype. The next slide basically depicts our vision and perhaps everybody's vision of creating a smart city where my friends and I and my fellow peers focus to create to make India a smart nation, a smart city. But our motive as our through our project is also to create a green city by generating a form of green fuel, which is perhaps depicted in the next slide. Next, I move on to show you a short clip, a short video that has just been published today at in a blog at 10:40 Indian Standard Time. this chart, this map basically represents how the northern part of India has been adversely affected by climate change. And so we know that India also stands at a verge of massive disasters, perhaps, as we have already seen in this year. So what this video basically says that climate change, according to 120 researchers, has become a huge crisis right now. And we, as a team, through the recent phenomenon that has been happening specific to India, we want to um, share our knowledge. We want to propose and idealize a newer renewable energy and a green energy method to combat climate crisis. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon. That was a nice presentation from your team. Pranay Reddy, okay, when he was explaining regarding methodology, he showed some videos, but there were no proper explanation. So I am confused here. So how you people are actually converting the carbon dioxide into, energy recovery system in order to convert the carbon dioxide as a green energy that you people are proposing?
So basically, now we know carbon dioxide is one of the majority. It takes up
Yes,
takes up
that
the
is one
first
of
place,
the.
perhaps, in greenhouse. Yes.
Mm.
So what the process, as mentioned in the flow chart, the diagrammatic representation, we pass carbon dioxide in through electricity. So basically,
Show me that.
electricity.
Show me that this thing flowchart and whatever you were speaking. Show me with that flowchart.
Perhaps we can show you the video, and because it's clearly
Yeah,
animated,
you can do
the
that. You
process
can
is
do that.
animated, and I can explain. Yes, sir.
You don't put up a slideshow. You can show directly from here. Okay, what's happening?
So this basically represents how much energy is being used and for what parts of sectors. And this currently shows the various existing renewable form of energy: biomass, water, solar, and wind. And they explain the disadvantages, the drawbacks of such renewable energy, because they are not commercially, they cannot be applied at a commercial level or maybe at a local level, especially specifically to India. As we know, they have their own geographical, topographical drawbacks, and they also cause overproduction if not stored. So rather, we are also proposing, they are basically explaining another form of energy for carbon dioxide that can be stored, unlike the renewable energy. The power it generates, that which cannot be stored but has to be directly used. And hence what they propose is to store it in the form of liquid through the gas. So what is this gas we are using is carbon dioxide, and this process is called as power to gas. So the depiction here is water undergoes electrolysis, and there's splitting up of oxygen and hydrogen, as we know. So when carbon dioxide is passed through this released oxygen, they both combine to form carbon dioxide, and this carbon dioxide can again be combined with the natural process, the natural gas of how we usually generate fuel. And in that way, your carbon dioxide is also recycled. Plus, by mixing with the natural process, natural gas, we are able to store carbon dioxide, which can further be conveyed to the transformers or such units where they are converted into electricity.
Okay, so this power to gas principle, whatever you explained, Sharon, so are you people developing a model of it?
So what our intent is basically right now with respect to the constraints, uh, because of lack of experimental and laboratory analysis, which we initially planned on doing. So we will want to take this further and perhaps we want to do the experimental analysis for the same process and perhaps include our own ideas of uh, converting the atmospheric carbon dioxide and methane to electricity to
Okay,
generate green fuel.
as per the literature, how much electricity or the units of electricity they have reported?
So this is because from the literature survey, these experimental analysis has just being done for the past couple of years. So they have just developed this process and they just proposed it. It's not entirely functional right now. It hasn't come into the market. So the analysis and research is still going on, which is also our project where we're doing a comparative analysis of the various techniques currently being proposed and involved.
Okay, Sharon,
I
thank
believe my member Taha had to say something.
Taha, you were saying something? If nothing's there, then we can move on to our next group of presentation. So the next group is?
That will be it, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Sharon. It was a nice presentation, I should say.
Thank you, sir.
Just did not offer. I did the two papers in there.
Bhargavi, you can begin. Your slide is visible. Start the slideshow and you can begin your presentation.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. Myself, Bhargavi, and my team members, Manisha, Soumya, and Shanmati, and our guide, Dr. P. Velumani, sir. Now let's get started. Today, I want to make a short presentation on replacement of fine aggregate with granite waste powder. Let me start with some general information. In design of concrete mix, cement, fine aggregates, and coarse aggregate are using long years back. As it is known, these three materials play a major role in designing of a particular grade of concrete. As we are aware, there is a scarcity of river sand. To overcome such scarcity, we need a substitute for river sand. So, some new materials which are near to our surroundings and some materials have to be introduced for replacing of fine aggregate, which give a same strength as river sand. Hence, in this present study, we are replacing granite powder in place of fine aggregate. As we all know, granite industry generate a large amount of waste, mainly in the form of powder, during cutting and polishing process, which pollute and damage the environment. Thus, this granite waste powder can be utilized in the place of fine aggregate. Moving to objective, I would like to emphasize basically 2 points. The main objective of replacement of granite waste powder is to maximize economic benefits and at the same time to protect the environment.
And next, this work aims to the possibilities of using granite waste powder as alternative raw material in the production of concrete. Over to Shanmati.
Thank you, Bhargavi. Let's get into brief explanation on materials we are using. We are using ordinary Portland cement of 43 grade is used, and finest test shall be conducted for cement and it should be 2.6%. We are using well graded sand passing through 4.75 mm should be used as fine aggregate. It consists of natural sand and other inert materials which are having similar characteristics or combinations having hard, strong, durable particles. Specific gravity of fine aggregate is 2.6. The coarse aggregate should be free from clayey matter, silt, and organic impurities. The coarse aggregate should also be tested for specific gravity and it should be around 2.72. Finest modulus should be around 4.2 mm, aggregate passing through 12.5 mm and retained from 4.75 mm should be used in the experiment. Next, please. We are using industry granite powder will be collected 4.75 mm passed material should be separated to use it as a partial replacement to the fine aggregate. Granite powder was partially replaced in place of fine aggregate by the percentage of 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50% individually. The specific gravity of granite powder 2.53. The finest modulus is 2.4 mm with a partial size less than 90 microns cube. This is locally available potable water and it should be free from concentrated acid and organic matter, and such type of water is used for mixing the concrete. We are using super plasticizers. It is used to improve the workability of concrete. The dosage of super plasticizer should not exceed more than 2% by weight of cement. Now I'm handovering the session to Manisha. Thank you.
Thank you, Shanmati. So I'm going to explain mixed design. Before going into the mixed design calculations, we should know what actually mixed design is. A mixed design involves the process of preparation in which a mix of ingredients creates the required strength and durability for concrete structure. Because every ingredient in the mix consists of different properties, so it is necessary that all the requirements to be tested in the lab to determine their physical properties. The values of the physical properties obtained after testing will be used as a basis for all the concrete mix. The object of mixed design is to decide the proportions of materials which will produce concrete of required properties. Here we are replacing fine aggregate with the granite powder of M30 grade concrete, considering a mixed design ratio of 1 is to 0.75 is to 1.5. A 1 part of cement, 0.75 part of fine aggregate or the granite powder, 1.5 part of coarse aggregate. This is the table showing the percentage of the replacement of fine aggregate with the granite powder. The table consists of the 5 mixed proportions with 1 controlled mixed proportions, so totally 6 mixed proportions. So due to this COVID-19, it was not able to conduct the laboratory test, so we have referred the articles of the different authors. So now I would like to show the sample of granite powder which we collected before the COVID-19. Hello. Sorry, it is hanging, so I would hand over my next slide to Soumya. Thank you, Manisha. As Manisha said, in this mix, 0.5% of super plasticizer was added to water, and the water containing super plasticizer was added to a dry mix to form a concrete. And basically, the cube size was 150 into 150 into 150 mm. It was cast, and the specimen should be cured at the age of 7 and 28 days.
and it also should be recorded in the compressive strength graph. So granite powder generally contain a high silica and it is suitable to replace a fine aggregate in concrete. As of using this granite powder, a reduction in waste generation helps to preserve the environment and the economy. This is because granite powder is available in a large quantity at the quarry sites. So next slide, please. Here it is a graph representing the compressive strength of a granite at 10%. Like compressive strength is the ability of a concrete to resist the load before it breaks or a load at a time of failure to cross-section of a specimen. The compressive strength of a normal concrete is between 20 megapixel to 40 megapixel, and it generally varies from 17 megapixel for residential structures and 28 megapixel for commercial structures. And this is a graph which represents the compressive strength of granite for 10%, where x-axis is the sample of concrete cubes, and in y-axis is the compressive strength. And the blue line shows the sample of concrete which is cured for 7 days, and orange one shows the curing of 14 days, and the gray one shows the curing of 28 days. Generally, we test any sample and we take it of 3 readings and average it for total. And the specific strength is calculated by dividing the maximum load applied to the specimen during the test by cross-sectional area. It is actually expressed in kg per centimeter square. Next slide. This is also a graph which represents the compressive strength of granite 20%. And the next slide of 30%. Presentation is over. So.
Bhargavi, Panisha, Shanmati, and Soumya.
Yes, sir.
Is this bad? Okay, yes, good presentation. When presentation is over, you must not close the presentation. You must keep the first slide of the presentation. Got it? So it is a very good work compared to many other works. It is in par with many other works. So granite powder is a efficient replacement for your fine aggregate to a certain percentage. And also in granite powder, have you seen granite powder?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So how it is? Whether it is like a sand or whether it is like a cement?
So it is like cement color, sir. It is like a crystalline form.
It's having similar properties of fine aggregates, sir.
Okay. It is not having similar properties of your sand. Sand is your fine aggregate. It is not having similar properties, but a comparable properties. So whenever you are going to use your granite powder, it can be replacement for finer particles like cement and sand. Okay, it cannot be only for sand or neither it can be only for your cement because it has some metalline properties. And a few references you have made. I would suggest 1 or 2 references. Kindly make note. Lijai et al. Lijai et al. The journal is Structural Concrete. Okay, Structural Concrete is the publisher in Wiley Publications. From Wiley Publications, in front of Lijai et al. There is a paper on granite powder. They have termed the granite powder as granite pulvers. Granite pulvers. I would recommend the people to study that journal. It is a back-to-back journal, so it will be having all the constituents which you need for a granite powder. Okay. Other than that, civil engineering project, it is a well-taken project. You can continue up to your 8th semester, I believe. So, do you have any proposal of making some model? Do you have any proposal to study on models? Am I audible, student?
Yes, sir.
Are you proposing any models based on this?
No, sir.
You are not proposing any models. Try to propose any model.
Sir.
try to propose a new model in the future. And can I ask one question? What is the disadvantage of using granite powder? You might have come across your literatures. Can you tell me one disadvantage of using granite powder?
Sir,
Hello, am I audible?
sir, it just creates environmental pollution, sir. So we are replacing it in fine aggregate.
No, that is your sustainability. You are using waste particles to your concrete. That is okay. I am telling as a structural part.
Sir, it is having finer particles than fine aggregate. No, sir, it may affect the workability.
Good point. It will affect the workability. And second one is not much of a addition. It is not much as attractive agent, which will not bind together. It itself can act as a binder, but still it will not bind together too much. And it is having brittle. Okay, the concrete that is prepared using granite powder will become slightly brittle when compared to stone. Okay, with this, you can check with your literature. Okay, thank you for me.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, student. So now I call upon the next batch, Sujay, Disha, Varsha, and Ritesh Babu.
Yes, sir.
1 You're online? Okay, you can start the presentation.
Yes, sir.
So good afternoon, everyone present here. I am Rishikesh from BMSIT-CIVIL. A project name goes by utilization of unused space in urban areas. As a case study, we have taken the unused space which is under Kodigehalli flyover, which is next to the abutment. My project teammates are Disha S, Sujay, and Varsha R. A guide who helped us throughout this project is Mrs. Prasanna G, Assistant Professor, Department of Civil Engineering. Content are as follows. We go through the introduction, objectives, methodology, and in the end, conclusion. So, in the introduction, we see that a lot of infrastructure are being built inside the city. A lot of, especially huge buildings such as skyscrapers, are coming up, and a lot of development is happening throughout the city. But there are places inside the city where the land is of no use. People are not using that vacant land. These vacant land or vacant space is called as urban void. So, as our case study, we have taken Kodigehalli flyover. The image what you see in this picture is exactly the space which is under the Kodigehalli flyover. This space is entirely unused, which is of no productive use. Our main motive is to use this unproductive area in a productive manner. Looking at all aspects, we have come with an idea to create a parking lot in this space. Since it's a commercial area, we have observed a lot of cars being parked right at the corners of the road, which obviously creates a lot of traffic congestion and traffic flow is being affected. So we have proposed a model. The objective of this model will be explained by my fellow mate Disha.
Thank you. As my colleague Rishikesh mentioned, there is a lot of space left unused by the public. These spaces can be utilized as parking slots as they are easily accessible to common people. By doing so, we can reduce the traffic congestion caused by parking vehicles on the roadside and even provide a safe parking. Through this project, we show how the slots can be divided into bicycle, two-wheelers, and four-wheeler vehicles, including the electrical vehicles. By applying such a project in reality, we can save time, fuel, and increase the safety of people and the vehicles. It is also cost efficient and convenient for the people. This can be considered as a step in making our city a smart city. Now, I further request Sujay to explain the methodology of the project.
Thank you. The site was measured by us. The site was measured by us and it was found to be 150 meters long and 27 meters wide. The pillar to pillar distance was 30 meters. The site was scaled on with respect to a toy car and the model was made according to the dimensions of the toy car. There are sensors placed above at a sufficient height in each slot. The working of that model will be shown in a video in the next slide.
Good morning, everyone. This is Sujay from BMSIT-CIVIL. Our project is regarding utilization of unused spaces in Bangalore city. In general, our project can be used under most of the flyovers in the city wherever necessary. In this particular project, we have considered the corrugated flyover just after the abutment. The dimensions were measured to be 150 meters long and 27 meters wide. This road connects Hebbal to Yelahanka and this road connects Yelahanka to Hebbal. This is a parking lot wherein there are 48 car parking slots at the center, out of which there are 6 slots reserved for electric vehicle charging. These are the bike parking slots. They can accommodate 90 bikes. And this is the bicycle parking slot. These sensors will be placed in every slot wherein they will detect the presence of any object, and if there's an object in front of it, this red light will be glowing. Example: suppose a vehicle coming from Hebbal has to be parked over here, has to take a right turn, then take a left. And if it is parked here, this red light glows. So another vehicle coming will be able to see that this slot is not empty. So we can move forward. This will be placed everywhere at these corners. If the vehicle has to come back to the same road, it has to come back, come straight, take this is the exit. There is no road, so it will be allowed to come back. If this vehicle has to come back to Hebbal, it has to take a U-turn, follow the road, and just go to Hebbal. And if the vehicle comes from Yelahanka, has to be parked over here, has to take a right turn. It will not be allowed to go on this road because it is one way. That's a come. The pillars, and the distance between pillar to pillar is 30 meters. There will be vertical gardening done on these pillars. Thank you.
Now the conclusion will be told by Varsha.
Thank you. As the methodologies and objectives are discussed, I'm going to tell the advantages. Being more environment friendly, simultaneously saving money with reduced operating costs is important for many individuals. From this example of the implementation of the presentation, its efficiency in reducing the traffic problem that arises especially in city areas where traffic congestion and insufficient parking spaces are unquestionable. Now, the advantages are: less fuel is wasted. Drivers are directed straight to an available parking spot. Therefore, they waste fewer kilometers driving around in circles looking for vacant parking space. We can also save money. Obviously, by driving more efficient when in search of parking space, you will save on fuel waste. We can also save time. Additionally, by driving fewer kilometers when in search of parking space, you will save valuable time which can be spent on work and other hobbies. It can increase in safety too. Drivers are less distracted looking around for a spot because they know where they can park their vehicle. They will have their full attention on the road. It can also reduce stress while searching for parking space. From this, I conclude that this application will help many people from finding the empty space without any collision or minor accidents. This application is easily accessible and easy to use also. Thank you. Thank you everyone.
That was a good presentation, Varsha and team. The demonstration that you people showed. So, is it of what area I should ask? Actually, I didn't hear you. Is it below the flyover?
Yes, sir.
Sir,
It's
it is under Kodgihalli, sir.
What flyover at the Kodgehalli?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so when you make this thing, no, it is actually the impressive what you people are proposing. But if you make this thing, I mean parking spaces, then would it not make congestion, more congestion there? So many of the people, okay, they might be traveling around or they might be coming to the Kodgihalli traffic zone from some other zone if they are coming to that space, okay. So if they are coming, many people they are coming. So when parking space is available, so it would be congestion for the people other than those who are coming to Kodgihalli. Is it so, Disha?
No, sir.
How come?
So it's actually the flyover is placed in between like
What
two
about the
ways.
service road? Service road below the flyover, I am asking.
Actually, sir, there is exactly signals near the space where we have selected. So basically, we have gone through all the traffic jams and how much distance it might take if the traffic jam happens, and we have considered all the aspects, sir.
No, no. What I'm asking is through service road, he should, I mean, he is not taking the driver, he is not taking the flyover, but he wants to take some diversion passing through that service road where your exact parking space is there. So at that time, it may happen that there would be congestion there. Have you thought about this?
Yes, sir, but there won't be any congestion, sir, because at the exit point there is a signal. So while entering, there'll be no traffic jam, and while exiting, when the signal is open, like when it is showing green, only then the vehicles exit. So there won't be any kind of traffic congestion.
Okay, the sensor thing you showed, so it would be below the this thing, no pavement.
no, sir. It'll be above the vehicle.
No, no, the sensor, the light, it will be above. But
Yeah,
what
yeah.
about the platform that you showed?
So the LED which we use, the light, it'll be at the corner, and the sensor, it'll be on the top, just above the car.
Okay. Okay, man. Thank you. That was good presentation.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Dear students, next batch Namita BM, Ravikumar A, Chetan A, and Lakshmi Sai Venkat Naveen.
Yes,
1BY 18CV 029. People, you can present now.
a warm welcome to one and all present here to the Project Based Learning 2020. Today, we, the students of 5th SEM, are now going to present you a brief explanation on use of plastic waste for the production of lightweight concrete. And our team members are myself, Namita BM, Ravi Kumar, Chetan A, and Sai Venkat Naveen. Now, based on the Hindu Business Line report on the 30th,
What happened, Ravi Kumar? Chetan, Namita BM?
Sir, 1 second, sir. Let me check. I think so. Any internet issues? She is the one who is presenting, sir.
So if she is facing problems, then anyone other than her, okay, they can present actually.
Yeah, okay, sir. Okay, so 1 second. She came. Sir, we can do next, sir. She's facing internet issues.
sir,
Okay, Ravi Kumar.
excuse
Okay,
me,
Ravi
sir.
Kumar, you can do next.
Sir,
Please.
now we will do, sir.
Are you okay with the presentation? Okay, you can continue then.
Actually, my mother called. Because of that, it got disconnected. Call got disconnected, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Now I'll continue. A warm welcome to one and all present here to the Project Based Learning 2020. Today, we, the students of 5th SEM, are now going to present you a brief explanation on use of plastic waste for the production of lightweight concrete. And our team members are Ravi Kumar, Chaitanya, Sai Venkat Naveen, and myself, Namita BM. Based on a Hindu Business Line report on the 30th August 2019, India generates on around 9.46 million tons of plastic waste annually. Henceforth, this is the best way for utilizing plastic waste. Normally, the density of concrete masonry blocks is 2150 kg per meter cube, whereas the density of lightweight concrete is 2100 kg per meter cube. Now, basically, what do we mean by lightweight concrete? Lightweight concrete is a mixture made with lightweight coarse aggregate such as shale, clay, or slate, which gives its characteristic low density. This lightweight concrete is further classified as lightweight aggregate concrete and no fine concrete and aerated concrete based on the method of production. Recycled plastic aggregate can be used as an alternative material to produce lightweight concrete with low environmental impact, and this coagulated silica was used as a admixture for improvement of dispersion of EPP particles in the cement based matrix. At first, natural and EPP aggregate were examined. And this is the comparison between the lightweight concrete and the normal masonry blocks. This is the figure showing tested reference and EPP concrete. And this is the figure showing EPP and natural aggregate. Thank you. I would carry on to my friend Ravi Kumar to continue the presentation.
Thank you, Namita. Using next slide. Using of expanded polypropylene waste plastic aggregate in lightweight concrete in order to access the effect of plastic particles on the properties of fresh concrete. Due to laboratory problems, this experiment have been referred many projects. Flow table test has been performed according to the EN 123505 2009 for the hardness concrete samples which were queued for 28 days and for 90 days in a water were conducted to know physical, chemical, hygienic and thermal properties when investigated in order to access the effect of plastic weight aggregate on improvement of heat transport and storage properties of studied lightweight concrete of thermal conductivity and volumetric heat capacity. Difference between normal and lightweight concretes are, in contrast to traditional concrete, lightweight concrete has higher water content. The use of porous aggregates increases the time taken to dry. Hence, to offset this problem, aggregates are pre-soaked in water before adding into the cement. As mentioned earlier, normal concrete can weigh between 140 to 150 lbs due to the presence of denser aggregate in their natural state. As a result, many believe normal concrete to cheaper compared to lightweight concrete blocks. However, the project have made natural concrete requires additional materials for framing, cladding, and steel reinforcement. Ultimately, increases the overall cost. Hence, lightweight concrete blocks remains cost-effective construction materials, especially for the larger project and for a and because of the load decreases, the cost effectively lesser. Next, I continue for Sai Venkat to present the result. Result of grain size analysis, both natural and EPP aggregates can be observed, as shown in the figure, that 100% of EPP particles were smaller than 8 mm, what is favorable for the use of silica and sand replacement. Next, Chetan will continue. He will conclude. Will conclude. Thank you.
So finally, the probable outcomes of the project are: the lightweight concrete is prepared by the using of EPP aggregates, and the use of EPP aggregates results in decrease of bulk density of concrete in hardened stage, because the EPP particles have significantly lower heat transport parameters. Because when EPP aggregates added to the cement, the thermal conductivity of the concrete reduces, but the workability of the nominal concrete and the concrete mixture with EPP particles are same. Thank you.
Students, the utilization of uh, e-waste, e-plastic, in the sense we call it as e-beads. Once upon a time it was thermocol. Okay, thermocol were called as e-beads and they were using it for lightweight concrete. Now you are using plastic. That is a good advancement. Have you gone across the literature? What are the disadvantages in doing that? Compared to nominal concrete, what are the disadvantages?
So the porosity is high.
Only the porosity? Is only the porosity the reason? What about the basic workability? Consistency, strength?
Sir, workability, there is no changes, sir.
So actually, the project we should do, sir, experiment not yet completed due to laboratory problems. Actually, we referred so many projects in that it was there like that physical and mechanical changes. It won't be, it will be normal, and the workability efficiency will be more, and the cost also it will be less, because the cladding more like RCC structures, and dead load will be less, and steel consumption will be less, so it has a more advantage only, sir. There is no so much of div, and the project is still going on, so we need to conclude it.
Ravi
But I
Kumar,
will conclude it. Yes, sir.
how the use of steel will be less if EPP is used? How is it related?
So because dead load will be less, no, sir. The uh, lightweight concrete blocks will consume less dead load. So the structure, the design, everything will be less, no, sir. Like that, it will reduce, sir.
The important point you must note down, Ravi Kumar, while doing
Yes,
these
sir.
different type of aggregates in concrete, one important thing is they will not bind together. When you use plastic, there is one disadvantage that it will not bind together. Okay, it will not be binding. Maybe it can bind with cement, but it will not bind with or bond on with your reinforcement. So there are few
Yeah, yeah, sir.
disadvantages
No,
which you
sir.
want to go through your
Yes, sir.
literature and find out some disadvantages. So while doing the next presentation, that time you can highlight those also. These were all the few gaps or disadvantages that is existing with this concrete. Still, there are more advantages compared to disadvantages. Likewise, you can tell. Okay.
Yes.
Compared to the cons, there are more advantages. You can tell like that. Okay, Rakbar, decent presentation. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, sir.
I now call upon batch 11, yes, Rakshit, Akshay Iman, Bhartesh T, and Monish Bhimanna.
Yes, sir.
You guys can present me.
Good afternoon, one and all. I am Akshay,
I'm going to present our project in front of you today. Our project title is Construction of Multipurpose Bridge in our Smart Cities. Our group members are Bhartesh, Maunesh, and Rakshit. Our project guide is Mrs. Shobha R, Assistant Professor in Civil Engineering Department. The main objective of our project is to avoid the construction of separate flyovers for the monorail road transport in any metropolitan city. In our project, we are proposing a structure in which the road transport vehicles will be moving over the slab of the flyover and the metro railway will be moving beneath the slab. We are using the monorail suspended type of planning this bridge. There will be a concrete slab on which the road transport vehicles will move and the steel rail will be attached beneath the slab for the monorail. These are the basic diagrams of our project. This is a slide view. This is a front view. This is a top view. And animation picture of our proposed bridge. My friend Rakshit will be tell you the significance of our project. Thank you.
Thank you, Akshay. The significance of applying our project in the smart cities are we can avoid the traffic congestion which may happen if we build two separate flyovers for the monorail and for the road transport vehicles. The budget which goes into concrete, steel, labor and the whole construction will be reduced to the cost of only a single flyover. Also by providing elevated corridors and monorail facilities in a smart city, it will be helpful for people traveling along the city for long distances. And also we can make safe lanes and pedestrian friendly lanes in the surface lane by diverting the high speed traffic over the flyovers. Now my friend Bartesh will brief you about the methodology.
Thank you, Rakshit. Methodology is mainly initially we are planning to produce a miniature model using the thermocol, and then we'll be analyzing the live load and dead load which are expected to be subjected and design the structure element appropriate to it. Metropolitan cities with minimum space and high traffic can opt for this project. Next result and literature is told by my friend Monesh. Thank you.
Thank you, Bharatesh. The result is cost of the construction is reduced by using this method as both roadways and railways are accommodated in the same place and reduce in traffic congestion as only the area of the one pillar is needed on the surface and duration of the construction is reduced. Thank you.
You can have a look on our PBL poster, sir. Thank you.
So Rakshit, tell me, so such kind of models, they are already there.
So actually there are multi-purpose bridges where we have trains moving aside the road, or we have two slabs in single pillars, but we are using a single slab in which we can use both our transportation, sir.
Okay, so for this, you are how you are proposing the slab to be built up?
Sir, that we have to we'll be designing in our coming days after learning about learning about the steel structure and about the pillars, sir.
Okay. Okay, man. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So I would like to ask the next group to present. Okay, so the next group is Rahul.
Yes, sir.
Rahul is there.
Yes,
So
sir.
you people, you start presenting. So Hasem Gowda, Varun GS, and Veerabhadra. Start your slides and start presenting, man.
Okay, sir, I'm sharing.
Yeah, begin.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Varun, and today I'm here to talk about urban flood management around Elanka city using satellite imagery and GIS technology. Sir, I am audible to you, sir.
Yes, yes. You're
Okay,
audible.
sir. So my teammates are Rahul K, Suhas M. Gowda, myself, and Veerabhadra Gowda. Our guide is Chandrasekhar Prabha, sir. So my friend Rahul will give the introduction about this project.
Thanks, Varun.
Shoot sheet for us to film. That will definitely take half an hour. So, can we parallelly do that at least for third sem if you completed previous semester? If you give me the finalized list, I'll sit and do the copy paste. Now in soft copy, if I have that finalized list, paste it. I'll take another
No,
half an hour.
not finalized only, sir.
So, but you put the marks, no? Oh, you have to sit and discuss.
Thanks, Varun. Myself, Rahul. Introduction. Flooding as a major natural disaster affects many parts of the world, including developed countries. Due to this natural disaster, millions of dollars in infrastructure and property damages and hundreds of human lives are lost each year. These hazards and losses can be prevented and reduced by providing reliable information to the public about the flood risk through flood inundation maps. Flood inundation maps are very essential for municipal planning, emergency action plans, flood insurance rates, and ecological studies. Geographic information systems are successful used to visualize the extent of flooding and also to analyze the flood map to produce flood damage estimation maps and flood risk map. Next page, please. Digitization of topographical data and preparation of digital elevation model, simulation of flood flows of different return periods using a hydraulic model, preparing flood risk map by integrating phases. As we know, last year in Karnataka, 35,000 crore property damage due to flood. By this remote sensing adopting technology can resolve it. Next, hand over to Ron.
Okay, sir. So talking about the significance of this project related to the society and environment is that using GIS and topographical data, we can prepare a proper urban development programs where there will be no damage to the properties and also to the economy. Using GIS and remote sensing can fasten the strategic planning and can fasten the disaster management system. It can be used to track forest and wildlife. It can be used to track the land cover and the land usage in that region. So the methodology of this project is by preparing the data using satellite imagery and GIS information. We're going to collect the topographical data of the urban area or a forest area. And after collecting the topographical data, in the second step, we are going to analyze it and create a model of this topographical region where we will create a 3D rendering of the total region of 3D maps of that region, and also analyze the hydrology flow of water in that region and also simulate the rainfall, heavy rainfall in that region. So to analyze that, uh, to analyze the flood, how the flooding is going to affect that area. And after analyzing all this, we're going to verify and propose the solutions to that region for the uh, future upgrades or developments. So result of this, as we can see that in this image, we can see the topographical elevations of this Yelahanka region. So in that same method, we are going to create a 3D rendering in the future for this advanced for in the future of this project. Using GIS, different topographical and topological data may be handled in a very efficient manner, and also GIS use and remote sensing data can fasten the strategic planning. So I would like to request my friend Suhas to take over this. Since he's unable to connect to the call, I'll continue with this presentation. So the literature review to this project was done on the various web-based research programs like based on flood prevention, flood runoff structures, groundwater depletion, and many other seasonal imbalance in the availability of water, and uh, other research papers were referred. One such was for the specific Bangalore case, we referred the urban flood management case study of Bangalore published by the IISc Bangalore. So conclusion and recommendations of this is using GIS and remote sensing, we can understand the urban features, land cover, urban growth and development and maintenance. And also we can use this for the military and strategic purpose. So thank you. Okay, sir, it's finished.
Yes, students, it was a good show. Can you tell what you propose to do on your project? Can you tell me what you are proposing to do with your project? Means the scope of your project. Future scope.
So we're going to create a 3D modeling of the topographical modeling for the certain region, and going to understand the flow of water, heavy storm water during rainy seasons in that region, and also understand how it gonna affect that region, and also knowing that we can come up with solutions to that.
So you are basically creating a disaster management protocol, or we can say that you are identifying the vulnerable zones and you're going to advancedly give the warning.
Yes,
Is it
sir.
so?
And also, for in future, we can go. We are will plan to develop that in a safe and reliable technology, sir, to prevent that any disasters effect.
So have you got any data relevant to previous flood occurrence in that places?
Sir, in Bangalore region, not specifically we have referred, but in future we'll do it, sir.
Okay, you have some plan in it, plan in your mind. So project it. Okay,
Okay,
good,
sir. Thank you,
Shanti.
sir.
As we know that solid waste management is the biggest challenge to the authorities of both small and large cities in developing countries. This is mainly due to increase of population in the world, so that solid waste increase day by day and it has burden to the municipal budget. Solid waste management is the main service to any society to the part of the individual to avoid the solid waste materials in the daily life so that it can reduce the environmental effects. It refers to the ranges of waste materials rising from animals and human activities that are discarded and unwanted useless. We know that plastic, papers, glass, metals, and organic waste, these are some solid waste materials that affects the environment. Solid waste generated from the industrial, commercial, and mainly handle variety of waste like landfills. Objective of our project. Objective of solid waste is the device a system of storage waste and segregation of recyclable waste at source. Recyclable material we should recycle at any at the primary stage itself. For more efficient, we should clean daily conventionally and mechanical way. Throwing waste on the roads causes many environmental issues and health issues for the living being in the world. We should stop transporting open vehicles which has been dumped the solid waste material. Such vehicles should be avoided and it better to use closed vehicles. To reduce the quantity of waste going to the landfill site by adopting the suitable technologies. To ensure safe disposal of waste including biomedical wastes. One cannot change the whole world so that we should be together as a teamwork. We should avoid the soil waste as soon as possible before environment get effectually very badly in the future. And significance of our project will be explained by Kavya.
As Monica explained, solid waste causes many problems such as air, water pollution, and also causes breathing problems. By managing solid waste, we can reduce our resource depletion. In the flow chart, we can see that first we have to identify the types of waste and then we have to segregate the source of waste and determine the potential health hazards from waste, and then we should determine how much volume of waste is generated, and then we should identify the safe collection method. Going on to the next slide. In the literature review, we can see that the report is collected related to waste management in developing countries. These articles give us a quantitative information like in this 43 million tons is collected and in that 11.9 million tons is treated. About 31 million tons is dumped into landfills. Moving on to the next slide. This is a table of total solid waste generated in metro cities in year 2010 and 11. We will take the example of Bangalore city. In Bangalore city, we have population about 8 crores and the area is 741 and density will be across 11,000 and the total waste generated in a day per ton is 3,700 and the per capita waste generated is 0.45. And the next will be continued by Darshita.
Thank you, Kavya. Now let us look on for case study. One of the case study which I took is from a part of Bangalore, that is Mavalipura landfill. And this picture shows the land which is get polluted by solid waste dumped in huge hectares of land in Mavalipura. And as we know that Mavalipura is a village in north of Bangalore. uh, it is about 15 kilometers and the population over there is 4500. And in the year 2003, 4 million tons of garbage is dumped in that area, and about 1000 tons of waste is dumped in that area per day. And it was increased by height 40 meters and spread several hectares. And a large plot of former grazing land was later leased out to the company called Ramki. The landfill was then operated by Ramki, and garbage came from the Bangalore Metropolitan Authority or BBMP. uh, the company was set up in the position to handle only 500 tons per day, but it gradually increased to 1000 tons per day. So in the year 2015, it was estimated about 3600 tons per day. In the year 2017, the garbage production of city rises up to 4500 tons per day. So due to this contaminated landfill site, the lake and the groundwater was polluted, resulting the death of villagers by kidney failure, cancer, and range of illness. And livestock, the villagers complained the authority. The Karnataka Pollution Control Board took notice in 2012 and passed an order to stop the dumping. So, this resulted in garbage accumulation within the city of Bangalore, and crisis was recognized in 2014. And this picture shows the Mavalipura landfill, which is polluted by solid waste materials. And however, the dumping continued, and August 2015, a protest was done by the villagers and decided to blockage the garbage trucks. They stopped trucks um, that is been coming from Bangalore cities to dump the waste materials into that landfill. So this became a first Indian metro to establish solid waste management plan in Bangalore. And this picture shows the solid waste which is dumped in Mavalipura landfill. Now Ravi Teja will be continued by methodology.
I'm explaining methodology of solid waste. Best way of treat solid waste is triple R method. As we all know about, the method is reduce, reuse, recycle. Reduce means to minimize the amount of waste to create. Example, steel containers use as much as possible before rusting. Reuse. Reuse refers to the using items more than once. Example, plastic bottles and containers many times we use. Recycle. Recycle, putting the product towards a new use instead of throwing. Example, many companies are recycling the plastic products from solid waste. We should avoid plastic as much as possible. These 9 tips for living with less plastic. Bring your own shopping bag. Carry a reusable water bottle. Bring your own cup. Pack your lunch in reusable containers. Say no to disposable straws and cutlery. Skip the plastic produce bags. Slow down and dine in. Store leftovers in glass jars. Share these tips with your friends and neighbors. Now Darshita will continue.
Thank you, Ravi Teja. Now we will look at how olive stone is converted to bricks. This typical process shows that the olive leaves, which is converted to olive oil first. So the global olive oil production for 2010 was estimated at 28 lakhs 81,500 metric tons. During the process of olive oil, the waste product had been removed in different stages. In the first and second stage, olive leaves and wood had been removed while process of washing olive. In third, fourth, fifth, and sixth stage of processing olive oil, the olive mill waste water and olive cake will be the byproduct. At last, seventh stage, by residual oil extraction, olive stone is being removed. By using olive stone, we can produce blocks for the usage of table and supporting walls inside house, even as showcase. Now let us see the procedure of olive stones to brick material. First, olive stone is collected from the olive oil producing that has been left out. Uh, it is added by polyester that acts as a binding agent to it, and it is added to it and mixed manually, or we can use machine for large production. After the pressing and being done, it is placed in particle board, and finally the block will be produced as shown in the figure. This this picture shows that the increase in production of solid waste material throughout the world. This graph is taken in the year 2015. So 10 years ago from there, 2.9 billion population was there. So 0.68 billion tons per year the solid waste was dumped, and in 2015 3 billion population was increased, and 1.3 billion tons per year was dumped, and estimatedly 2025 population will be 4.3 billion, and estimatedly 2.2 billion tons per year will be dumped. So this graph shows the seven continents where solid waste had been dumped and increasing in the year 2016 to 2050 as estimated. So we will look where India lies, that is in South Asia. So 334 million of tons per year in the year 2016 was dumped, and estimatedly 2030 466 million tons per year will be dumped, and in the year 2050 661 million of tons per year will be dumped. So this should not happen, so we should take precautions before the environment get effects. Not only environment, the all living beings will be affected if this graph increases year by year. So the conclusion part will be continued by Kavya.
As we know, many problems comes when we maintain the solid waste. To overcome this, we should educate the people about this issue, and the individual participation is very important. Not only people, government and municipality also should pay importance to disposal of waste economically. And some are methods to overcome the solid waste management are by installing the electric machine which converts plastic bottles into the new products, but it can be only done in most populated cities. And the next slide will be explained by Darshita.
This is one of the different way which can we reduce the solid waste and use it for more efficient and eco-friendly. And here we can see the plastic into fuel process can be done, where plastic bottles or plastic materials which is dumped into the machine which is installed in populated area, and it turns to a fuel. We will look some video regarding this. Yeah.
Students, are you there online? Presenting a video? Okay.
India alone generates close to 26,000 tons of plastic waste every year, making it the 15th largest plastic waste polluter in the world.
20 years ago, there was not such a problem because we Indians have brilliant recyclers. Clothes, we give it to somebody. Paper, newspaper, we give it to kabadiwala. But when plastic came into our life, because it's such a brilliant product, we just didn't know what to do with it. It's cheap, it's versatile, and it just became part of our life. Bottles, thick plastic gets recycled, but especially thin plastic usually ends up in a landfill.
It is this type of thin plastic, known as multi-layered plastic packaging or MLP, that slips through the cracks of India's waste management system. MLPs are also glaringly absent from the dirty dozen list. The 12 single-use plastic items which have been banned in India starting October 2019. It was only in 2009 that Medha Tatpatrikar decided to take matters into her own hands, along with her business partner, Shirish Fadtare.
First 3 to 4 months, we literally sat down with chemical engineers, mechanical engineers, polymer engineers, or anybody to do with plastics. And then realized plastic is a fossil fuel.
एक डोक्यात प्रश्न आला की जसं क्रूड ऑइल पासून म्हणजे पेट्रोल किंवा असं बनतं, क्रूड ऑइल पासूनच प्लास्टिक बनतं एवढं माहिती होतं. मग आम्ही म्हणलं असं उलटं करता येतं का? ते म्हणले असं काही करता येत नाही.
After months of research and failed experiments with the help of scientist friends, the duo adapted a technology that converts all kinds of plastic waste to get a high-grade fuel that is environment friendly and has a high calorific value. With a production cost of 23 to 34 rupees per litre, this polyfuel can be used directly as a source of burning without any need for further processing.
When you burn this, the sulfur output is much, much less than the diesel. The diesel allowable sulfur content is around 80 ppm, while with us is 0.17 ppm. So emission-wise, it's much more cleaner fuel.
So, likewise, we can produce more innovatively, like for plastic fuels, even the alcohol can be produced. The basic need is, as we know, waste vegetables or fruits which is waste which is thrown outside, we can collect that, and by help of machine we can prepare alcohol. And yeah, so basic thing is we should safeguard our environment before it affects in the future, so that our future generation people won't be affecting in such manner, and be a part of the solution, not the part of the pollution. Thank you all.
So, students, your guide is Chandrasekhar sir, right?
Yes, sir.
Hmm. Good presentation. If too many students were there, I would ask them to see your presentation for how to do a presentation. Right? It was a very good presentation. So, in your study on solid waste management and Davanahalli area, you are in Bangalore, right?
Yes, sir, but due to COVID, we did not do surveying over there. So we just flipped on to this.
Okay, okay. I would think that you have done very good literature work. You have understood what you are going to deliver. So, important aspect in any project presentation is 50 percentage project and 50 percentage is the presentation. You score full 50 percentage for your presentation. Okay. So, I would expect you that you will do the survey and you will take forward this project and all the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Now, next batch. We call upon next batch. Suraj Kumar, Rohinish Sharma, Tanzil Ahmed, and Rishabh Bhomik. 1BY 18C05.
Well, sir, there is a slight misunderstanding. Only I and Rohinish are gonna present the PPT. So,
Other two cannot be connected here. They are not connected.
actually, they are not in our group. So,
The group has been changed. Okay, fine, fine.
yes,
Who are there now?
sir, me and Rohinish.
That's all fine. Rohinish. Okay. Rishabh and
Sir, yes, sir. So, can we start?
yes, yes. You can continue.
Oh, okay, sir.
So, good evening, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, students, you are audible.
So, good evening, sir. Again, good evening, my friends. I am Rohini Sharma. The topic of our PBL is use of plastic in construction of roads, guided by Dr. Unnati Agarwal. Next, please. So, the contents we will cover in this presentation will be introduction to plastic roads, concept of plastic roads, materials used, construction, advantages, disadvantages, and conclusion. Now, introduction to the plastic roads. Sir, as you know, the major invention of plastic is that it is lightweight and low cost and much durable than other substances. But the main issue with plastic is that the disposal of plastic, as it is non-biodegradable, and if we'll burn the plastic, it will cause air pollution. But lab studies prove that waste plastic enhances the properties of bituminous. So keeping that in mind, people came up with the idea of building plastic roads. Next, please. So the concept of plastic roads. One more major issue in roads in India is after some times, the road will have huge cracks and holes formed by heavy rains or monsoon seasons in India. So there comes the plastic in road. Basic idea behind the whole process is that if we can use water repellent property of plastic so that the road will last long. Next, please. Next slide. Materials used. Three major material used in construction of plastic roads are aggregate, 10 mm of filler material. Filler is fine dust of lime. Bitumen, glue type of material used for binding. And waste plastic. Plastic waste in shredded form. Next slide. So the construction of plastic roads. Plastic waste cut into 2.66 mm size by shredding machine which is heated to 165 degrees Celsius. Now bitumen, a petroleum waste product, is heated to 160 degrees Celsius to have good binding and prevent weak bonds. In the mixing chamber, the shredded plastic is mixed with bitumen and within 30 seconds it gives an oily look. The resultant mix is now used for road construction. The road laying temperature should be 100 degrees Celsius to 110 degrees Celsius and the rollers are used of 8-ton capacity. Now over to Rishabh.
Yeah, thank you, Rohinish. So, good evening, everyone. So, basically, the advantages of using plastic roads over our traditional roads are better resistance to rainwater, reduction in pores in aggregate, thus less cracks to step in, and also the cost of construction of road decreases by 5,000 rupees per kilometer. And obviously, the ultimate advantage is that disposal of plastic will not be a problem anymore. But this concept has few disadvantages too, and they are the cleaning process is very tough because toxic present in the commingled plastic waste should start leaching. The presence of chlorine, which definitely release a noxious HCl gas in the road link process. After the road link process is done, it is observed that the first rain will trigger leaching as the plastics will merely form a sticky layer. And the components of the roads once it is been laid are not inert. So the conclusion is overall the plastic road project is a great potential step towards sustainable road development where we think if this idea is carried out on a large scale has tremendous effect to save our mother nature from the choke of plastics without us limiting the use of plastic in our daily needs. But it doesn't mean to just use plastic blindly. Thank you.
So students, it's a good presentation to see. And in your plastic load construction, what is your proposal? This is now the ongoing project. What is your proposal towards this project?
Sir, pardon, please.
What is your proposal in this project?
Proposal as in, so, sorry, I didn't get your question, sir.
So
Sir,
you are going to study the durability of plastic roads.
yeah.
That's all. That's all is your proposal. Are you doing any models to study this durability property?
No, sir, not right now.
Not yet, sir. But it is seen that if we use plastics, the road durability can go up to 6 to 7 years.
Okay, students. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Now I call upon uh, next batch Umar Farooq, Karthik Patil, Syed Abdul Rahman, and Abdul Wahid to do the presentation. Dear students, are you online?
Sir,
Umar Farooq, Karthik Patil.
just a minute.
Uh, Good afternoon, everyone. This is Syed Abdul Rahman, and my teammates are Omar Farooq, Karthik, and Abdul. Today, I'm going to talk about the use of biochar in construction of payments, and our guide is Rajesh Gopinath sir and Shimna ma'am. Our topic is basically on use of biochar in construction of payments. Recently, the world has witnessed a significant increase in the biofuels due to the growing global uh, concerns related to energy security. Since the non-renewable resources, that is petrol, diesel, etc., are depleting, the biofuels are losing from the seeds of the plant, such as Massoifera, by the process called pyrolysis, which leaves behind a large amount of carbonaceous biochar of a bioproduct. Massoifera is a non-edible oil seed tree specific abundant in northern eastern region of India. The seed is extracted as a waste during the process of extraction of oil. Utilization of carbon-based materials of alpha asphalt blender has been attempted earlier. Carbon fiber, carbon dust, and carbon nanotubes are some of the carbon-based materials that have been successfully used as asphalt additives and modifiers. For improved performance, positive result reported with other carbon-based asphalt additives, together with the possibility of using a carbonaceous product of pyrolysis process. This enables the use of biochar as a modifier to asphalt blender. So here, the biochar is used a byproduct obtained during the pyrolysis of the seed, which is called Massoifera. When the seed cover at 450 degrees centigrade with heat rate 40 degrees centigrade per minute and nitrogen flow rate is 100 ml per minute. Biochar modified asphalt blender can be prepared by first drying the biochar for 2 hours at 110 degrees centigrade and then introducing the asphalt blender at the content of 5, 10, 15, 20 percentages. By weight of blender, the biochar to be first sieved through 150 micrometer sieve before the addition. To the asphalt blenders, blending to be performed for 30 minutes at 160 degrees centigrade using high shear mechanical blenders. And biochar is also added in small increments during blending to avoid its agglomeration in the binders. Steps those are involved are Massophyra seeds, dried seed covers, grinder seed covers prior to its pyrolysis, biochar obtained from pyrolysis. Some tests are to be performed on asphalt blinders. First is flow of behavior. Apparently, viscosity to be measured for control blender and biochar modified blenders at 135 degrees centigrade at function of shear rate. It is expected that viscosity of biochar modified blenders increases with an increase in biochar content, suggest an improvement in the blender stiffness, and other is superficial shear stress. The superficial shear stress is used to characterize a HMA, which is a hot mix asphalt mixture resistance to permanent deformation. The characterization can be used as a performance test for HMA mixture designed using superwave mix design and bulk specific gravity. The bulk specific gravity test is used to determine the specific gravity of compacted HMA sample by determining the ratio of its weight of an equal volume of water. The bulk specific gravity test measures a HMA examples samples weights under three different conditions: dry, saturated surface, SSD, which water fills the HMA air voids, submerged in water, which is underwater. HMA specific gravity is need to be determined. Weight for volume relationships and to calculate various volume related quantities such as air voids and voids in mineral aggregates, and the significance, the byproduct which is left behind as a waste after the pyrolysis process, that can be used in many ways, like more positive ways. Addition of biochar increases the viscosity of asphalt blender, and also it improves the permanent deformation resistance in terms of superpave earthing parameter at high service temperatures. Addition of biochar decreases the susceptibility towards again of the bioasphalt blender. The addition of biochar improves rutting resistance of the blenders, the stress sensitivity of all blenders in within the specified limit, and decreases with an increase in biochar content. And I would like to conclude it by so that the biochar which is left behind as a waste can be utilized in a more positive way in the construction of like any payments and further help in waste management. Thank you.
Students, is your presentation over?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you are using biochar in pavements. So can I get a
Yes, sir.
list of advantages again?
Sir?
Advantages of your project?
Sir, it improves the viscosity of the asphalt, sir, which helps in improving the strength of the compressive strength of the uh, pavement.
Okay. Are you going to conduct any test, laboratory test relevant to
Yes,
this?
sir.
Yeah,
We
there
plan to
are
do
three.
because of because we can't do. We didn't do.
Okay, I would suggest it is a good presentation, and I
Yes,
also suggest that you must read more literature. Then
yes,
thereby
sir.
you can precisely do what exact tests to be conducted in the laboratory. Okay, what tests
Yes, sir.
can be performed in the laboratory, and I hope that you can also start up this technology using biochar construction of waterborne macadam roads. It will be very good. Okay.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
I now request the final batch of today, Gurjeet G, Manohar BM,
Yes, sir.
Fazil Farad, and Chetan. You online?
Yes, sir. I'll
Yes,
present
sir.
the screen, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now you can present.
Uh, good evening, everyone. I welcome the students and the teacher to PBL Open Day. The title of our project is Flood Runoff and Automated Groundwater Recharging Wells. Our project is guided by Dr. Rajesh Gopinath Sir, Department of Civil Engineering. The main objective of our project is to provide a solution for floods and water scarcity, which are the two major problems faced by the society, and to improve the public domain, which is protecting the health from waterborne diseases, like many diseases are there. So, Manohar would explain about the significance of our project.
The significance of our project can be clearly seen in these two pictures, where in the wet season we have excess of water and in the dry season we don't have water at all. Therefore, our concept works on eliminating seasonal imbalance of water availability. Literature review was conducted on various methods of flood prevention and groundwater depletion by referring to various news articles and websites related to groundwater depletion. Now, my friend Gurdeep will explain the results of our project.
This is the flowchart representation of a project conduction. We first worked on literature review by referring news articles and websites
web-based research on groundwater depletion, and drawing of the model, and to make a presentation of the concept. Now let us look into the structure, which we have evolved from the regular borewell recharging units. The structure has mainly four components. First, an AI-based opening system and a filter media, catchment area, and pipes or holes for percolation. This is the flowchart representation of the working mechanism. The floodwater enters deep well that is similar to groundwater recharging wells. Then it passes through a section of filter media and gets stored in the catchment area and simultaneously percolates into the soil through pipes or holes provided in the well. This is the illustration of the structure. This is the opening that is present in ground level, and it is empowered with an artificial intelligence which opens up when it senses floods. And this is the filter media through which the floodwater passes under gravitational force. This water then enters this catchment area, which is approximately 30 feet deep. This houses pipes and holes through which the water percolates into the deep soil and joins the groundwater reservoir. This is the top view of the well, which is approximately 6 feet in diameter. How our concept is different from regular borewell recharging units. The regular borewell recharging units supply water to a single borewell from water that is harvested from rain, whereas our proposed structure is deeper and recharges the groundwater reservoir from floodwater, which in turn increases water level in all the borewells in surrounding areas. The advantages of this structure is this structure requires less space, therefore fitting in places where there is no place for new construction of flood runoff structures. And it is very economical and easily solves the problem of flooding and groundwater depletion also. Finally, we conclude our presentation by saying that our concept can be a good solution for floods and groundwater depletion, and it eliminates seasonal imbalance of water availability. Future scope of a study is to conduct a cost estimation project and to recognize places in Bangalore where these wells can be constructed. On behalf of my members and guide, I thank you for your kind listening.
So Gurudev, it was a nice presentation. Slow flood runoff and auto recharging of the units. Good it is. So I have a
Yes, thank you, sir.
question. You have incorporated AI into the manual system. Okay, mechanical
Yes, sir.
system, you have incorporated AI along with this. So what happens when either of one system fails? I'm not telling both the system will fail. When one system fails, is it possible for the next system to take care of the load and function?
Even if the AI fails, we can manually redirect it to work, sir.
Okay.
The AI system only opens the holes which senses floods, but if it fails to sense, we can manually open it.
Okay. Okay. As far as project is concerned, the project is good. And in the presentation, the good part is you have drawn your own manual drawing and you have showcased what you are going to do. Right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That is a good concept. And I would expect that your project, you should prepare a model here. Right?
Yes, sir.
Lot
That
of space
we.
available around our college. So
Yes, sir.
you can request permission from our staffs and principals, sir. And
Yes,
in
sir.
nearby our laboratory, you can actually do this prototype model. It is a successful model. I have seen preliminary models. I have never seen models with AI incorporated with that system. Okay.
Yes, sir.
You can
Along
do
with
this.
cost estimation, we are planning to do it in the final year, sir, for final year project.
Okay, it is a stage-wise project. Understood. Okay, keep up the good work. And
Thank you, sir.
if you are going to be selected for the next round on Monday, then I would expect that you must add few more slides to your project. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Either you must add a few more slides of your own work, and you must also be able to tell more about the literature, what and all works there already,
Yes, sir.
how
Sure,
they
sir.
are recharging the units. Okay, those must be told. Okay.
Yes, thank
Thank
you,
you,
sir.
guys. It was a good show. And now I request all of you can leave the meeting. We will wind up the session. Thank you for all the participants.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.